Okay, so our next question is, and this is in a foreclosure context, is it important to respond to a summary judgment motion in an ejectment case? And the answer is absolutely. Definitely need to respond. So let's define a few words. What is an ejectment case? Well, again, we have a long video on mistakes people make in an ejectment lawsuit. But basically, an ejectment lawsuit is you got foreclosed, the alleged new owner, usually the mortgage company, says you got to get out of the house. You don't get out, then they sue you. Well, where are they trying to go to? They're trying to go to a court saying you are evicted from your house. You're ejected from your house, you might say. And then often they want money damages against you for hanging out in the house after the foreclosure. So what's a summary judgment? Well, that's a motion, and almost all motions are in writing. A motion is just where you ask the judge to do something. So here the mortgage company in writing says to the court, Judge, there's no reason to have a trial. No reasonable jury, no reasonable judge could ever find in favor of the homeowner. You need to grant us judgment. You might think of it as summarily granting judgment. And so we don't have to waste time with a trial. That's the argument. And you'll get those papers. Usually it's like affidavits, documents, supposedly evidence that may or may not be admissible. And then the judge will normally set that for a hearing. Well, if you don't show up at the hearing, you normally lose. If you don't file the right type of materials, the right type of response to that summary judgment motion and follow the rules, then you lose. Now, what does that mean if you lose? If you lose, that means they have an order that says you got to get out of your house. And now a sheriff will come knock on your door and say, get out. So people will say, well, that's unfair. I want my day in court. I'm going to skip this summary judgment. I'm just going to go have my trial. Well, you can say that, but if summary judgment is granted against you, there is no trial. That is your day in court. So very serious, need to take it very serious, need to treat it with the respect that it's due. If you're facing a summary judgment motion, that is somebody trying to kick you out of your house so that you don't get to a trial. So make sure that you handle that properly. Again, we have a video and we'll try to link to that in the description under this video for that 5 mistakes when you've been sued in an ejectment action. We answer really what we try to do with that webinar. Like I said, I think it's maybe an hour and 20 minutes long, is say, if we were having a face-to-face meeting and you didn't really know a whole lot about this type of law, you didn't know what your options were, then that would be us explaining that to you. And rather than doing that in person or over the phone, hey, put it on video. That way, when we do have a meeting, we can just focus on what we actually want to focus on, which is, do you stay? Do you fight? What are your odds? What's in your best interest to do?